Good morning from the Coco and Lefty show. I just want to say how much Coco and I enjoyed Chelsea's wedding on Saturday. We just had a terrific time. We haven't had an opportunity to chat with some old friends like, Judge Judy and Dr. Phil. Oh, no, we're not supposed to mention any of the guests that were there, like Amelia Earhart or Carol Lombard. But, okay. Coco, you have any interesting news?
Oh, here's some shocking news from Japan. 113-year-old Fuya
She's reading the Bible.
was reading the Bible, and she was listed as the oldest woman in Tokyo and is missing. Officials said just a week after the discovery that Tokyo's thought to be 111-year-old oldest man was found mummified and had already been living with Buddha for several decades. A Tokyo newspaper also reported a missing 601-year-old man in Fukuoka. September 21st is a holiday honoring the elderly. Each person over 100 receives a letter and a gift from the emperor. Looks like he'll have some money this year. Penn and Teller will be doing a show on old dead people. Lefty.
Well, that was certainly an unusual story. Did you mean that man was 601 years old? I don't think so. I think he was 106 years old. You're misreading your script, dearie.
I suspect you're right.
Well, I was going to talk about BP, but they're not worth talking about anymore. It's all lies. Anyhow, I'm going to do a magical, mystical, phenomenal trick where I'm going to be soaking money and tissue papers in alcohol and lighting them up, and we'll see what happens. I've put the alcohol in this little jar because it's hard to dip stuff in this bottle here. Now, let's hope I don't set myself on fire or Coco, but let's see what happens. I'm going to take this $20 bill, and I'm going to put it in the alcohol here and soak it really good. And I'm going to light it on fire. Don't tell my mother, she doesn't let me play with matches. Here we go. Well, it's interesting. Paper didn't burn. Let's try a tissue.
I thought paper doesn't burn.
Paper does burn. Well, let's try this piece of tissue here.
Oh.
Maybe dollar bill. $20 bills are fireproof.
That could be.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, let's see what happens with an ordinary piece of tissue here. Whoa! Look at that.
I guess that's a glow.
Should we call the fire department? Let's move the alcohol away from that so it doesn't blow up, catch on fire, or whatever. Well, it's on fire and it's not burning.
Can you explain why the tissue and the money didn't burn?
Well, actually, Coco, I can't. But I'll tell you a story about my cousin, Chaim Yankel. Well, Chaim Yankel hasn't been working recently. He was fired from his last job. And he recently had an interview with for a new job. And the interviewer said, Chaim Yankel, this job that we have is for a very, very responsible person. Are you responsible? And Chaim Yankel said, if I'm anything, I'm responsible. He said, at my last job, just before I was fired, whenever anything went wrong, they said, Chaim Yankel is responsible.
Okay, and that's our show for today.
So long, people.